What's up? What's up? What's up, world? You are live from the Producer's Corner, a new segment that we're doing here at the Know It Alls podcast. Just wanted to briefly get on here and talk to you about something that I just recently saw on Netflix. Great watch, Malice in the Palace. And it reminded me of something that I think I've already known and I've known for a long time. The Indiana Pacers were the greatest what if in basketball. But before I get to that, man, I just gonna go back on the film a little bit, man. 2004, it was set. The Indiana Pacers were playing the Detroit Pistons, and it was 3-2, 3-2 in the conference finals. Reggie says something that, Reggie Miller, one of the greatest guards to ever play basketball. He said, hey, man, it was an evenly matched team. Whoever made the most mental mistakes was going to win that game, and they were going to go on to win the NBA championship. Sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Ron Artest committed a flagrant foul. I mean, you could argue it was flagrant. You can argue it was just he had a reputation of flagrant fouls, so he got that foul. And definitely the game was really tight. I think it was 65-65 or 62-62. It was tied at that point, but the flagrant foul kind of turned the tide on that game. That next year, they ended up picking, and here's the thing you have to understand. It was Jermaine O'Neal, it was Ron Artest, and it was definitely Reggie Miller at this point, right? And they were ready. They were right. But that next year, they picked up Steven Jackson. And that made them a team that could be reckoned with. I mean, they were definitely at that point, if you think back, that 2014 had one of the best records in the NBA at that point, right? So they were really, really good. And then they got better defensively and they got better shooting wise and they got younger, which was something that Reggie needed, One of the things that, really stood out, and I'm not going to review the movie because I really want you, or the doc, I want you to go and watch the documentary. It was really good. The player interviews, I think, are worth the watch by themselves. But David Stern, he didn't want to take accountability for it in the NBA. He wanted the NBA to kind of have their hands clean. He did the pilot move, like, my hands clean. I ain't convicted of none of this. And he blamed it on the players. But once again, the players had a role to play, but I really have to say here it was the fans, right? And we've seen this narrative play out in the NBA a lot. There's a lot of entitled fans that go to NBA basketball games, and they feel like because they're season ticket holders, they can say anything that they want. Absolutely not true. Right? If you paid for a season ticket, guess what? You're just a season ticket holder. All you have the privilege to do is to yell real loud, to boo real loud, and to enjoy the basketball game. You do not have the privilege. You're not paying, although you feel like you're paying for their salary, you're not paying them directly, and they don't work for you. And even if they did work for you, it's not slavery. So you shouldn't be able to hurl insults, much less a cup. That's something totally different. I was appalled at the lack of responsibility. I used the word appalled. I was appalled at the lack of responsibility that the fans took for starting this melee, especially the man that took a cup. He thought he threw the cup. He thought that was going to be, the funniest thing in life, when literally you cost so many people so many things. And at the end of this, I started thinking what I already knew. You cost Reggie Miller a ring. One of the greatest to ever play this game of basketball in the NBA. Sir, you cost them a ring. Indiana Pacers of 2005 is the greatest what if. We know that the melee and the fallout. Ron Artest was suspended the whole year. Jermaine O'Neal was suspended for some games. And Steven Jackson was suspended for some games. That took a lot out of Reggie's sales. That was it. You got to think about it. At this time, Ron Artest is the best on-ball defender in the perimeter that there is in basketball. At this time, Jermaine O'Neal is one of the best big men in the game of basketball. Guarding the rim protector, and he was getting busy. he was getting points. He was getting buckets. I think he was averaging like 23 points a game. Reggie Miller was still the sharpshooter that he was. And Steven Jackson had just came off of winning the NBA championship with the Spurs. So this was a seasoned unit that was ripe. And they had went into Detroit at this time and spanked Detroit. Now get this. This was them at full strength, right? And them at full strength, they had spanked Detroit, and Detroit went on to be in the conference, well, the NBA finals that year against my beloved Spurs. And they got spanked, and of course the Spurs won another one. But what I'm saying to you is that Indiana Pacers team beats my beloved Spurs. At full strength, they beat them. And this is a team that, I mean, when I think about, what they could have accomplished and what was taken away from them that day by one person's insensitive act, man, it's just hard to believe that happened. And then the person not taking accountability for his actions and the things that were cost, the things that were taken away from basketball. We didn't get an opportunity to see Reggie win another one. Meta World Peace, Ron Artest, he won one with the Lakers in 2010. And of course, like I told you, Steven Jackson had already won one with the Spurs. And Jermaine O'Neal, what y'all don't realize, he was a bona fide all-star at this point. He was an all-star. He wasn't just Jermaine O'Neal. He was an all-star. He was an all-star playing his best basketball. And after that, after that year, Ron Artest left, Steven Jackson left. And, we had the retirement of Reggie Miller. But I just wanted to hop on here, man, and talk to you about the greatest what if in NBA basketball. And, it was just reminded to me by the Malice in the Palace that it was taken away. This is your boy, the Producer's Corner. This is I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.